Hey guys, it's Derek here. We're going to have a look at the news for 21st to 27th June 2021. Okay, so kind of just out of nowhere, Square Enix announces that they're going to be giving Final Fantasy IX an animated series. Everyone's like, what? Is this a joke? So reported yesterday by Kidscreen and then confirmed later by Kotaku. French production company Cybergroup Studios, known for their children's entertainment shows, will be leading the project. So there's a big press release here about we're like delighted to be working on Final Fantasy IX, yada 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 yada, whatever. That's kind of it. You don't really know anything else about it, or when it'll be released. Is it a limited run thing? Is it a feature film that's broken up into episodes or something like that? Will it be given the Castlevania treatment where they'll split it up into seasons or something? I don't know. They're aiming it at 8 to 13 year olds, and curious why they decided to give 8 the words, or 8 letters and 13 numbers, but whatever. If they're going to pick a Final Fantasy to aim at 8 to 13 year olds, sure, Final Fantasy IX probably makes sense, except for all the war and death and genocide that goes on in the game. How well that will translate to 8 to 13 year olds, I don't know, but that being said, Avatar The Last Airbender had plenty of that in it too, so I'm sure it'll probably work out. Okay, moving on, we're gonna have a look at some of the new releases this week. So one game I've been talking about probably quite a good bit is Scarlet Nexus. There is a video of me playing the demo up on the channel at the moment. You are basically anime teens with psycho powers, so telekinesis, telepathy, psychokinesis, pyrokinesis, sclerokinesis. I still don't know what that one means. I thought sclero meant scarring, but I don't think it does. I think it means thickening. Anyway, lots of anime stuff and lots of fun combat. Combat is actually really, really good. So I'm definitely looking forward to play that, and you will probably see more of it on the channel, but probably not for a while because I have a shit ton of games I need to get through. Anyway, that's a bit of Scarlet Nexus. Again, there is a demo out that you can have a look at if you are so inclined. Shown off during Square Enix's presentation during E3 is Legend of Mana Remaster. So it's a remaster of the old JRPG with improved visuals, and like they've redone a lot of the in-game cutscenes and stuff. I don't think this one has any actual gameplay in it. It seems to just be all the cutscenes. Well, that's unfortunate. It plays like an old school isometric JRPG though. And then Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, again, I think this trailer is all CG, but this is a party, 4-player D&D over-the-shoulder slash-em-up kind of thing. This trailer, I think, is all CG. I don't think there's any gameplay in it. It looks really rough, which is why I'm not too into it, and I don't really like the characterization, I guess, of some of the characters. Actually, sorry, the characterization of the characters is fine. Actually, it's honestly the characterization of the monsters that I'm not a big fan of. Anyway, any gameplay I've seen has seemed really, really rough, so I'm not too into it myself. And we had Mario Golf Sugar Rush, that I'm going to continue to call it that because it sounds better. Basically, it's Mario Golf. They showed it off during the latest Nintendo Direct. It's a standard golf game. Kind of prefer everybody's golf, to be honest, but then it has some extra additional modes, like the one where you all just hit the ball at the same time. Did they go into that in this? No, it's all just standard boring golf. And definitely, I'm absolutely going to play this with motion controls. Good God, no. The course variety is something, because this is it here. Everybody just plays at the same time. It's a bit of a Mario Party kind of extremely unfair mode of playing golf. I think it would be funny to play in a group. I think it would be extremely frustrating to play in like an online thing where you're just gonna get pissed off all the time. Anyway, and a couple of demos I've mentioned before. Monster Hunter Stories 2 has a demo out this week, so it's Monster Hunter, but also a bit of Pokemon in that you can capture and train monsties to fight alongside you. And then it has a kind of wrapped big plot to go with it too. I don't think there's gameplay in this trailer. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Anyway, you can capture monsties and help and fight alongside them. And then Neo, The World Ends With You. So there's the sequel / follow-up / something else for The World Ends With You. If you are familiar with Persona 5, you will probably... Sorry, not familiar with, but if you liked Persona 5, you'll probably like The World Ends With You. They're not super... They don't exactly play the same, but they definitely have similar motifs of Tokyo teens in a world that kind of warps around them, and it's a JRPG, so there's a certain amount of that. It's usually... The music is really, really good. And the plot is, at least for the original, was really, really good as well. So I am very much looking forward to see to play the demo and to eventually play the full release whenever it comes out. I think it's next month. Okay, everyone's least favorite part of these videos, that they go on for too long. So going back to last week where we had a story about Bobby Kotick being paid too much, and maybe he won't be paid quite as much, but still be paid too much. Turns out he's going to get paid just as badly, or whatever way you want to put it. But anyway, he's still getting paid too much money. So they had their shareholder meeting where 54% were in favor of him maintaining his ridiculous salary. This is very rare for it to be this middle of the road. It's usually either one way, like all the way up in the 90s, or all the way down in the 10s. Like, it's pretty rare for it to be this split. But either way, he's managed to hold on to his absolutely disgusting bonus pay. Remember, he's been paid for next year already. It's ridiculous. They put back the vote, which is kind of interesting. So it's kind of mentioned here that they delayed the vote based on requests from shareholders for additional time, which, kind of reading into it, feels like either Activision or potentially Bobby himself got a hold of some of the shareholders and was like, hey, could you maybe vote for me so I could get an extra zero on my fucking pay for no reason, because I don't do anything. But anyway, it appears to have worked. This is what Michael Werner of the C2W group. It appears Activision did just enough arm twisting for its say on pay measure to pass, nearly failing to receive majority support with only 54% of votes cast in favor. He goes on to mention that such marginal support is very rare. It's fewer than 4% of companies in this whatever that is receive support around the 50% mark. The average support is in the 88s, which is... Shareholders like, yeah, keep paying our CEOs shit tons of money. And fuck those employees, am I right, guys? They went on. Activision spokesperson came out to say, under his, Bobby Kotick's leadership, he has turned Activision Blizzard into one of the most important and valuable entertainment technology companies in the world. Most important. Activision is the most important. One of the most important technology companies in the world, Activision. Citation needed. And then increased jobs. He increases jobs by firing everybody, so all those jobs get created again. Anyway, the rest of this is just pointing out what, like, they fire people all the time, but Bobby fuckface still gets way too much money. Developers within Blizzard have been pushing for more transparency and equity around employee pay. Yeah, well, this is why you get a union, guys. This is why you get a union. So continuing with people who don't do anything but get paid too much for it, EA makes substantial changes to executive pay after negative shareholder feedback. So this is a case where they didn't win the vote. This is a case where they only got 170 versus 59, so about 28 or so percent, something like that. I don't know, quick maths, sounds like that. So these votes typically aren't binding. They're not legally binding. They're just a kind of what do our shareholders think right now kind of thing. And I guess it's up to them whether or not they implement it, but typically they do. So in this case, Andrew Wilson, or Android Wilson, as Sterling likes to call them, was paid double his equity last year. So EA's board of directors approved a 30 million equity award to Wilson for the 2021 fiscal year. This was up from 15 million. That's double. That's 100% increase. I don't know about you guys, but when I get an annual review, I don't get a 100% increase in my salary. That doesn't happen. Not even close. It's not even going to hit double digits. Never mind 100%. The board of directors believed that making this larger than normal grant on a one-time basis was in the best interest of stockholders. That's what give all your money to one guy, given the heightened competition for top executive talent and the need to continue to retain and motivate Mr. Wilson. Really? 15 million isn't a good enough motivation? Really? If he doesn't want to do the job anymore, I'll do it. I'll do it for fucking 15 million. I'll do it for 10 million. Things I could do if I was in charge of EA. I'd probably be fired immediately for killing the fucking foot books. Anyway, I definitely put Dead Space back on the agenda. EA's board approved a fiscal 2022 annual equity award for Android Wilson, targeted at 18 million. So he's still getting more, no matter what. It's pointed out here that he's on course to earn too much money, which is still an 83% increase on too much money. Anyway, so that's one CEO not getting all the money. He's just getting most of the money instead. The wrong people are getting paid. Right. Cyberpunk 2077 finally returns. Why will you please behave yourself, scroll wheel? Cyberpunk 2077 finally returns to PlayStation Store, still with warning not to buy for base PS4. So it was kind of an eventuality that Cyberpunk 2077 would eventually get back on the PlayStation Store. But there is a kind of caveat from both CD Projekt Red and Sony, who basically saying, don't play this on a base PS4. Play it on a PS4 Pro, or play it on a PS5. Yeah, one or the other. So it is both Sony saying it in a tweet and CD Projekt Red also saying it in a tweet, which isn't really helpful. You should kind of say it in a right on the store page. I wonder if it can detect if you have a PS4 Pro or a PS4 in the store and just not let you buy it. So this just here highlighting it's been 6 months since it was pulled back at the end of last year, basically to say that it's still not unplayable, but really, really bad on a base PS4. It has received like a lot of patches in the meantime, a lot of it around like performance optimizations, fixing crashes, fixing animations, physics, that kind of thing. But still, also don't get it if you have a base PS4. Either get it on a PS4 Pro or get it on a PS5. As for Xbox, I don't think it was ever taken off the Xbox store, so you can figure that out yourself. But speaking of, Microsoft's special Cyberpunk 2077 refunds policy ends early July. So you may remember that Microsoft were doing a deal that if you wanted to refund Cyberpunk 2077, you could, no questions asked, they'd pay for it. Basically, that's ending at this really early in July. So basically, you've got a week, pretty much. If you have it on Xbox and you want your refund, you got about a week to turn that in. This is mostly coming along the idea that it's had a good few updates now and it's pretty stable, so it's good enough that we don't feel we have to step in to help out CD Projekt Red. That's all. That's more of a PSA. There's not a whole lot to that article, just you've got a week if you want to do it. So we looked at a story last week that Facebook was looking to implement ads in Oculus games, and they had a test game that they were going to use called Blast On. Basically, the developers of Blast On were given considerable shit from their players to basically say, what the fuck are you doing? Do not do this. So after consulting with their buyer base, Resolution Games has announced that it is pulling the $10 game from Facebook's ongoing ad test program. After listening to player feedback, we realized that Blast On isn't the best fit for this type of advertising test, therefore we no longer plan to implement the test. So you're not going to have ads in your game you've already paid for. Player response to this announcement was severe and saw the game inundated with negative reviews on both the Oculus Store and Steam. Many users took issue with the fact that Resolution Games would be serving ads to players who had already purchased Blast On, as contending with in-game ads is traditionally reserved for free-to-play games. So basically, I paid $10, and when I paid for it, there were no ads in the game, and now you're putting ads in the game. Give me back my money. Or take the ads away. Pick one. Which I think, yeah, it's in there even. And a reviewer demanded, remove the ads or give us our money back. Kinda. It's false advertising, really. Facebook's handling of Oculus has been a constant source of controversy after it acquired the brand in 2014. Yep. Good payday for Oculus, but pretty much terrible for everybody else. Last August, the tech juggernaut announced that Facebook accounts would be necessary to use the Oculus headsets from the start of January 2023. And I don't think you can make a new account without making a Facebook account. I think you can grandfather one in, and you can kind of get away with it for now, but I think eventually you're going to need to have, like, no matter what, you're going to need to have a Facebook account. So no matter what, I will have to make or remake my Facebook account in order to keep using my Oculus Quest. Shortly after, Oculus VR users discovered that deleting a Facebook account will also delete the Oculus account. So if you ever come down to say, fuck Facebook, I'm done, I just want out, all your Oculus purchases go with it. Why? Why aren't these separate things? That is a consumer rights problem waiting to happen. And I don't think anything will ever happen because consumer rights very rarely actually go to video games. For whatever reason, they're very rarely extended. I can see this becoming a problem in Europe, though. Definitely. Okay. Xbox custom controllers have a messed up banned word list. So this is a pretty funny article where John Walker, who was guesting at the time, basically goes through the Xbox Design Lab thing where you can put a specialized engraving on your controller, but only to find out that it has a very strange algorithm. To the point that maybe it's not an algorithm. It might be that people are specifically interceding and preventing certain combinations of words that don't make sense. So he goes through a bunch of pretty funny things, like you can't say penis, you can't say dick, you can't say vagina, and so on. You can't say ovary, or you can say ovary and cervix for some reason. You can't say fallopian tube, but you can say fallopian or tube, but not the two of them together. And apparently you can't say cunnilingus either, and a bunch of other stuff. You can't say kill the English for some reason, but you can't say kill the Americans or whatever like that. You can say kill penguins, but you can't say kill women, which is good. But apparently you can say kill men. Okay. Microsoft officially on record saying you can murder babies. You can't murder children, but you can murder women, and you can murder babies. Okay. You can't say kill Americans, but you can't say kill the English. You can't say kill Russians, but you can say... No, sorry, it was here. You can can't say I hate England, and you can't say I hate Russians, but you can't say I hate Belgians for some reason. And apparently you can also nuke Belgium, but you can't nuke anywhere else. There's a lot of stuff around religion. You can't say kill, whatever religious group, but you can say that you can kill religious figures for whatever reason. Using specific game companies, so I think just the word Microsoft in general is not allowed. You can't say that you can kill Nintendo either, but you can say you can kill Sony. And you could say Sony sucks, but you can't say Microsoft sucks. And then it gets into some pretty bad stuff here in that you can't say queer pride, but you can say punch queers. So I don't know where their algorithm is coming down that the word queer is not allowed, but the word queers is for some reason. You can't threaten trans, but you can threaten trans women. I know. There's some bad stuff here. You might have seen, if you're on Twitter, you might have seen stuff around Coca-Cola have something similar where you can brand a bottle and have it say a message, and it's also having something similar like this, only a lot worse, and that you can get away with pretty much any far right thing you want to say, but you can't say any left leaning thing. Anyway, this article just goes through a bunch of stuff, and it's just very odd that it's clearly not an algorithm. It's clearly just a list of words and word combinations that they don't allow. And it's going down to say that you can't use a bunch of curse words. You can't say fuck. You can't say feck. Feck isn't a curse word. Okay, it's not. It's just general Irish parlance. You can't just not. I take great umbrage in that being added to a list of curse words because it's not a curse word. Anyway, there's a great number of them. You can't say your mom, which is unfair. You can say men are trash, but you can't say women are trash. You can't say kiss my butt, but you can't say kiss my bottom. Anyway, there's a big list of these. If you want a bit of a fun time, and then also worrying about why companies are interceding with their own lists when there is a perfectly legitimate banned list of words out there that you could just pull from. Anyway. Valve really doesn't want you using VPNs to get cheaper games. So Valve doesn't want you to get cheaper games in general. It doesn't really like you changing your territory because it likes to geo-lock in a bunch of prices. It's somewhat hamstrung by the idea that the publishers also expect a certain price for their games when they're on Steam as well. So they are somewhat at the mercy of regional pricing themselves, and they are, I would imagine, legally obligated to enforce it. So a couple of different ways they've gone about enforcing it. One they had added a good while ago was that you could only use local payment methods to buy a game on Steam. So basically you couldn't use an American credit card to buy a game in Russia, like that kind of thing. But one further thing they've done now is users will now only be able to switch their country every 3 months. So you won't be able to just go back and forth with a VPN. This is mostly to stop people from seeing a game they like, changing their territory to buy it at a cheaper price, and then swapping back to their original territory. So basically, I turn the VPN on to get the game cheaper, then turn the VPN off so I can play the multiplayer without it turning to shit. This is Steam basically saying, no doing that. You can only change your region every 3 months. Why would anybody want to do that? Well, there's a map here from VPN Pro, basically pointing out this is the average game price on Steam, and as you can see, North America and Europe are kind of getting a little fucked, and Australia are kind of getting a little fucked over here. Whereas Russia, China, Asia in general, except for Japan for some reason. No, that's not Japan. Is that Japan? That is Japan. Japan for some reason is also getting fucked over. Also, who decided to put white text in this? Because it's fucking illegible. Anyway, as you can see, changing your territory from the US to Russia, for instance, is like a considerable price drop for a lot of people. Same for if I changed my territory from Ireland to Brazil, I could get it for a lot cheaper, and so on. That's why you'd want to change your VP. That's why you'd want to change your territory, because you can get games on average cheaper. But Steam don't want you doing that, because one, it's less money for them, obviously, but two, they are probably legally, contractually obligated to ensure regional pricing. Like geo-locking and regional pricing in general is bullshit, particularly for digital products, but you can't necessarily give Valve shit for it because publishers more or less set the prices. I mean, sorry, you could still give Valve shit for it for not for caving to it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's the publisher setting the price. Okay, the latest Marvel's Avengers patch is displaying players' IP addresses on screen. Wow, this game just gets shitter and shitter, doesn't it? So the latest patch for whatever their latest thing is, something about a cosmic cube. Player's IP address is floating text on screen along with their username. It's not clear if it's their Marvel username or if it's their console username or whatever, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever it is username. What's wrong with me? Anyway, please refrain from streaming for now if you're experiencing this issue. We will update when this issue has been resolved. That's great. I sure hope my channel isn't known for Marvel's Avengers and I'm losing money by not streaming right now. I mean, it's not. I would never touch Marvel Avengers, but I imagine there are channels out there that are like that. It's just another, like, how on earth did this get past? Certification, never mind QA. PlayStation itself, on an update it basically goes back to say it's PlayStation 5 players who are experiencing this issue only. PlayStation's own certification process should have flagged this immediately as a problem. Never mind Square Enix's QA team. Should probably have caught it too, but the certification process, as in it's the process you have to go through if you want to send a patch through onto PlayStation or Nintendo or Xbox. You have to go through a certification process, which is where the console owner have their own QA team who check a bunch of normal stuff like, does the game run? Does it crash? Does it cause any other issues? They go through other things like terminology use, like legal things. Is PlayStation spelled correctly? Are the buttons you're using, are they using the correct art assets and that kind of thing? But also they check this shit. And clearly they didn't. So that's really bad. But whatever, it's getting fixed, and one, not that many people have PlayStation 5s, and then two, not that many people play Marvel's Avengers either. So I guess it's hopefully a limited number of people. Also, I would like to point out, Kate Bishop, pick a weapon. You cannot use your sword and your bow at the same time. You gotta pick one. What are you doing? Okay. And then last thing, so a good while ago, a trailer for a game called Abandoned popped up, and people went a bit nuts at it, thinking that it was a stealth Silent Hills, as in this is Silent Hills and they're just Kojima is just playing us. Everyone seems to forget that Kojima doesn't own Silent Hills. It's Konami that owns it, and he's left them, so why would he be working on a Silent Hill? But then there were rumors that he was working on a Silent Hill game, and obviously he was responsible for a PT demo, which turned out to be a Silent Hills thing. Anyway, that trailer popped up, people went a bit insane about it, and Blue Box, the developer behind the game called Abandoned, basically they've been trying to say that no, it's not Silent Hill, we don't work with Kojima, like calm down. But on the other hand, they've also been sort of stoking it. Like, they have it here with in the 15th of June, there was a tweet where they said, Abandoned actually had a new name. Its first letter was S and its last letter was L. So they're not helping themselves. So they're stirring up a lot of interest for the game, which obviously you want to do because you want to sell your game. You want as many people as possible to see it. But Sorry, excuse me. At the same time, you're building up a lot of hype that you are absolutely not going to be able to deliver on. Like, Blue Box are an untested developer. This is their first game, I think. We've seen one trailer that doesn't show off any gameplay, so they're asking for a big fall here, basically is what I'm saying. Their lead developer, I think... Sorry, I just want to check if they actually mention what his title is. I think they did. I think he's lead developer. I don't know, it's there somewhere. But anyway, he went on Twitter to basically say that one, I'm a real person. I'm not a paid actor. I'm not involved with Silent Hill. I'm not involved with Hideo Kojima. Like, calm down. And then to say that they'll do a Q&A session at some point to talk more about the game and hopefully depress all that hype down a little bit to just, this game looks good, instead of Herb McGurr, new Silent Hill. You know, maybe just push it down. Just push it way down. All the way back down. Okay. Bit of dumb stuff just to round out the video. So we had a look at a game called Game Builder Garage last week. It's a Nintendo thing that showed off, just kind of gamified a way to like game development and stuff. And somebody took it and made Hotline Miami with it. Now, Hotline Miami the game is obviously a lot more involved than this, and is also on the Switch for a very cheap price. So if you really want it, you could get it. But still, very impressive that they could make something like that with the tools that they had. And they've got the basics are there for Hotline Miami. It's like open the door and all the enemies just rush you. That's kind of how the game works. So I just wanted to highlight that there are a lot of things you can do and a lot of impressive and things you wouldn't necessarily expect. If you ever touch the Little Big Planet or the Dreams community, you'll see a bunch of stuff that's like, holy shit, how did you do that with those tools? Like, there's some genuinely amazing stuff out there. Another one to look at, GTA 5 is still being modded to shit. So somebody added Godzilla, and now there are a lot of Godzilla mods for GTA 5, but very few of them have a Godzilla with actual nuclear power blast. You can see it's using the same run animation from like the in-game characters. Like, Godzilla would not be able to move at this kind of pace. He would fall over immediately. Plus, I don't think the infrastructure would be able to hold him. He'd probably just drop directly into the sewers if he started running like that. I just thought it was cool. It has the like the sound effects and the audio from like the films for when he charges up and when he blasts out his laser. The lighting could be a bit better, I guess. But I don't know, I thought it was cool. And I just think it's fun that GTA 5 is still being modded like this. Like, the game is in no way dead or anything. Oh, sorry, the game itself might be, but the mod scene is definitely not. I just think it's cool. And then last thing, mostly because it touches on Ireland in general. So the Irish Tourism Board is basically using the latest Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC, the one that goes to Ireland, to kind of show off the Irish countryside. And I think that's a pretty cool idea, so long as you don't dig too far into the DLC where like werewolves and ancient technology shows up and stuff like that. But it is cool that they go like, here's the thing in the game, really incredibly well rendered, and then here's the thing in real life, just absolutely depressing. It's depressingly bad. I think I've been to all of these except the Giant's Causeway. I've never been to the Giant's Causeway, but that would be cool. But I thought that was a cool idea to just take this stuff and partner with them. I'd be surprised if like the Italian Tourism Board didn't do something with the Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy with like Rome and Venice and Florence, because there's a lot of really well realized stuff there. Maybe Assassin's Creed Odyssey in the Greek Tourism Board, or Assassin's Creed Origins in the Egyptian Tourism Board, or something like that would be interesting. Yeah, I think I've been to all of these except Giant's Causeway. Anyway, sorry, I had to wait for my Steam Deck to wake up. Stream Deck. Every single time I say Steam Deck first. I don't know why. Anyway, that was the news for 21st to 27th of June 2021. You might have seen on the sides there, well, one, I killed Chaos earlier in the week, if you want to check that out. But also I'll be looking to get the March video up at some stage. I actually still have to play Yakuza Like a Dragon at all. I haven't touched it, so I am looking to get that in, but I want to play enough of it that I actually have something to say about the game. But also, I'm kind of looking at changing the format for those Games of Month videos, just because, as you might imagine, it's March now. It's gonna be it's not March now. It's June now. It's gonna very soon be July, and I'm only getting to the March video, so I don't really know how to look at it, because I'm not having enough time to actually work on it. And I do want to keep some kind of video that like highlights the games of the month, or just the games that came out, or just games I liked that time that I don't necessarily play, like to do the one-shot videos, the Foley plays, whatever, for a bit videos. Like, I don't always do them. Like, there's the Atelier games that don't really lend themselves to those kind of one-shots because they take a good while to get going. The Yakuza games are kind of the same. It's just, it's hard to tell when I can show a piece of gameplay without massive spoilers, which is what I always try to hide. And then I do feel somewhat hamstrung in that I would like the games, the way I envisioned it was that the games for a bit videos, I'd play 4 of them. They'd be the 4 games I do for the Games of Month, and then I'd have the Games of Month video to just pull them all together. But it's not really working out that way. So I'm just having a rethink of the format. I don't know if I will change it. I might keep it that way and just use the Games of as a kind of recap thing, and the for a bit videos as just, this game came out, it's kind of cool, give it a shot. I don't know. Basically, I don't really know how I'm gonna work with that. If you have any ideas, please feel free to let me know. I don't. To be honest, I really don't know what I'm gonna do with them. Anyway, that was as I said, that was the news for 27 June 2021. Let me know what you guys thought, and I'll see you next time.